7% of all high school athletes go on to play in college. As proud members of the 93% that didn't, this is Frat Leads.
All right, college football this week. New week, new games. What games we like? I'll start off, actually. I actually called a friend before this because I was, on the fence about, Michigan versus Maryland. I was like, 17 points. I feel like that's low. I was like, I think Michigan wins by like 24. Called him to get some, maybe he would talk me out of it and give me Maryland plus 17. Called him. He had no faith. He had no faith. I could tell in his voice that he was lying to himself when he said Maryland plus 17. So for that reason, I have to go Michigan minus 17. I can just tell that Maryland's not there.
Two of his little brother's a quarterback, right?
Yeah. Talia.
He don't have that dog in him.
He actually, I don't know if he's left-handed. But the Tagovailoa brothers are kind of like up. I guess the family's up, you could say. So who knows?
They got some kick-ass.
So you got Michigan minus 17?
Yeah.
I actually like Ohio State minus 18 against Wisconsin this weekend. Night game. This is completely like, I know I'm trying to be unbiased here. I really am. This gives me a lot of the same vibes as Michigan State last year. Ohio State went into Michigan State, and Michigan State had Kenneth Walker, and they're trying to play slow the tempo, run the ball. Kenneth Walker was leading the nation in rushing yards. We held him to like 13 carries for 20-something yards. Like, the man was averaging like a yard and a half per carry, and we absolutely blew out Michigan State. This gives me very similar vibes with the Wisconsin game. It's a night game at Ohio State. We're blacking it out. 3 touchdowns is very manageable. I believe it's at net minus 18 right now, minus 19. It's right around there, but Ohio State is one of my 3 picks for this weekend. And after seeing that offense last week, along with what the defense has been doing, it's hard to root against the Buckeyes right now and what they're putting together.
Yeah, I also had Buckeyes covering. I think that after whooping on Toledo, they kind of got their shit right, and Wisconsin's just not that good.
Ohio State was accidentally scoring touchdowns like last weekend. Did you, Hayden, did you end up taking your Toledo plus 33?
Thankfully, no.
Good idea. Okay.
Good.
77 points. 77 points, Zach. At the end of the first quarter, C.J. Stroud was 11 for 12 with 212 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. The dude had a whole first half stat line at the end of the first quarter. I get it, it's Toledo. I get it. But
still
powerhouse in the MAC.
That's what you're supposed to do. While we're on the Toledo topic, they are going to run through the MAC. That is my pick to win the MAC is Toledo. That quarterback is a dog. He's an absolute stud.
Yeah, if you're gonna beat a team in the MAC, you might as well beat the best team in the MAC.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I know, it's Toledo. It's a MAC school. Ohio State's supposed to take care of business. That Toledo team is not bad. They will be 8-4, 9-3 going through this MAC schedule.
I just can't think about the MAC right now.
Yeah, they play Bowling Green at the end of the year. It's a big rival. I hope Toledo just beats the shit out of them.
We're hammered Toledo, dude. We are hammered Toledo.
Bowling Green and Rice, those schools.
Maybe they just can't cover a scrambling quarterback, Bowling Green. Maybe they were good with Columby because he's not a big scrambler. That kid from Toledo, he is fast. That kid could play.
So my next one is USC at Oregon State. I love USC minus 6.5 here. Caleb Williams, so they have the 9th ranked offensive line, and they already have put up 152 points, all versus FBS teams. And the Oregon State pass rush is 122 in the nation.
Nice.
So Caleb Williams is going to be able to read kids nighttime stories and then throw the football. And I just think they win by at least 2 touchdowns. I think 6.5 is going to be It's a little disrespectful. But last time I said that was Marshall minus 16.5. So
Bowling Green's not even green.
Facts.
That's a good point. It's a good point. I also had USC minus 6. That was one of my 3. I loved it. I've been on USC 3 times this year, I'm pretty sure, and I believe they're 3-0 against the spread. I know for a fact they covered last week against Fresno State. That was a game that I was big on. That was one of my 2 wins. But, yeah, I agree. USC this weekend, I'm with you.
I like also UTEP and Boise State over 45.5. Boise State's kind of fallen off, but they still put up about like 30 points a game. UTEP allows about 35 points a game while also putting up like 12 to 15 themselves. So I think it's going to be like a mid-battle, but usually when you have a mid-battle, there's like no defense. So that's who I put over 45.5.
Go ahead, Zach.
No, I don't really. My third pick was it was Washington minus 13.5 for Stanford. But just like the more I look back at Stanford playing, because they only lost to USC 41-28. That's 13. And I think USC is better than Washington. So like I'm now kind of leaning towards Stanford plus 13.5. So I'm going to lock that in. I'm switching up my original pick to now Stanford plus 13.5.
How do we feel about the Marshall-Troy game?
Realistically, coming off a loss like that, Marshall should absolutely come out with a fire under their ass and just beat the dog shit out of them. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm taking Marshall money line. I'm not touching the spread because I think that Huff is just going to run the ball the entire. I think and it's like no disrespect to Columbia. Like I think that they're going to be like, we're just going to run, control the clock, and get out of there. They're like, we gotta, because this is their 3rd straight road game. Like I know it's gonna suck to be on the road that much. So like after this, like they get home games and stuff. I think they want to just get in and out of Troy. I think that they have the potential to win by a lot, but I think more realistically, like I think they're just gonna like control the tempo type game.
Yeah, that's also why I took the under, because I feel like it's gonna be a big defensive battle. Like for Troy to match up against App State, who you could argue has a better offense than Marshall, it's pretty impressive. So our defense is gonna have to kick their ass, and I think, like you said, they're gonna run it a lot, so it's gonna kind of quicken up the game. So I put under 52.
My last one, I have Oklahoma versus they're at home versus Kansas State minus 13. Oklahoma hasn't let me down yet this year. I remember last Saturday morning I was going on a big rant about how Oklahoma minus 11 versus Nebraska was a massive lock, and then I had 3 dudes coming at my neck. Ballinger can attest to this, saying Nebraska just fired their coach. This is that game where they come off a fired coach. I'm pretty sure it was like 28-7 at the end of the first quarter, and I was giving everybody the double bird, saying you guys are idiots. I told you Oklahoma, but I'm going with the hot hand, kind of like the USC pick. They haven't let me down yet. Might as well ride the hot hand.
Do you guys have any underdogs? Like underdog, like money line?
I'm confused on why Baylor is an underdog against
Iowa State.
Who do they have? I wanted to say Baylor, but last time I said Baylor against BYU, that was a dud. I guess not a dud. They went to OT, but I want Wake Forest to be or Clemson really, really bad. Don't think that'll happen. Don't think it'll happen. I think there'll be a lot of points because Wake plays fast and likes to throw the ball. But I think those 5 stars all over the field for Clemson is going to be too much. And then there's
I don't know, bro. Don't count out the Demon Deacons. I just think Clemson is mid, and I think Uwe Ungolole. I think he is just like trying to fill the void of Trevor Lawrence that he cannot. I don't know. I think Wake Forest could do it.
I really think that was the right pronunciation too.
Oh yeah, I studied it.
Every single one. You got all the syllables.
Also, look out for JMU versus App State. JMU is the best offense in the nation right now.
JMU's filthy.
Statistically.
Also, last two games I wanted to hit on, just SEC football this weekend. Arkansas is a dog at
Texas
A&M. Yeah, okay.
That's what I was going to say for my underdog. I don't know how they're underdogs, but I do like Arkansas in that game.
I love Arkansas's quarterback, but I got that weird feeling. It's just A&M has way too much talent and hype around the field and off the field for them to be 2-2 in my eyes. Like it's just like I don't see them being 2-2 going into week 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then Tennessee's at home against Florida. That'll be a fun one.
Go Vols, bro. Hendon Hooker's my dark horse Heisman pick.
I think Tennessee runs it on them.